right, getting past the no. Ready? Boom.
Yeah.
Where we left off last time. We established rapport and credibility early in the process through our introduction. We ask questions about the driving habits, we verify the information on the deal, and then we develop a connection, establish a connection. It's important that we do it early and often. And I mean, when I say early, I mean on these pre ordered cars, give them a call if you have to. If you didn't see them at the dealership, make sure you get in touch with them and you have conversations with them and you get to know them and you review the deal with them and you stay in contact with them. That's what we talked on the last webinar. So that is setting yourself up for success, and that's the only way I know how to do that. Next, you got to gather the information about your customer. When you talk about driving habits, how long they plan on keeping the car, how many miles they drive, where they like to do their oil changes, what's their insurance deductible. Remember, the deductible is the rateometer as to their risk. High deductible means they're not willing to take a risk versus a the low deductible means they're not willing to take a risk, where a high deductible means they're somewhat willing to take a risk. So the information that you gather from your customer is essential because it gives you an idea of how to present to them when they come into the dealership. Remember to present options in a telling manner rather than a selling manner. It pays for this, it pays for that, rather than protects this. You don't have to go into elaborate explanations of the product because when you do, you kind of wear the customer out. So drop the you and your are and focus on it and the. What that means is when you're sharing the options with your customer, you want to make sure you focus on the yous, on the it's and the, not you when you hit a pothole, when it hits a pothole, when the tie hits a pothole, when the keys are lost, not when you lose the keys, when the vehicle's a total loss, not when you total the vehicle, because the customer can deny that ever happening. Next, drop the protects and adds the pay for. I was on a webinar the other day, and I was talking with a finance manager, and he buys into the pays for, and he's killing it, man. Pays for customers can relate to that much better than protects or covers. Start gaining commitment by asking which option works for you. That's how it all starts. You're going to get past the no more often by starting off with which option works best for you. And the reason why most finance managers don't ask that question simply is because they sell too much during their presentation and they don't have the opportunity to say which option works best for you because they're pushing products on the customer. And sometimes they're irrelevant products, although sometimes they're relevant. The fact of the matter is, you'll find out what's relevant by asking the customer which option works best for you. With that said, go with whatever the customer says initially and then dig your heels in and start selling. So, set yourself up for success. Present the features, save the benefits for after your presentation. We talk about it all the time. Gain a commitment to start by asking your customer which option works best for you. This is the session we're going to talk about. Use what was learned during your introduction to influence your customer to purchase an option. In other words, if they said to you, then keep the car, the wheels fall off, remind them they told you that. And that's the reason why they should purchase a service contract. One of the things you're doing during the introduction, quite frankly, is you're actually exposing a need. By asking the customer questions about their driving habits, you're exposing a need and you're discovering the why you're presenting the products to the customer. So you're telling them, hey, look, you're giving the car the wheels fall off. This is why I think you should reconsider your decision not to enroll in the service contract. You're putting no money down, you're financing the sales tax. Those are all the reasons why you should reconsider purchasing the gap. You drive down this highway that's under construction right now. You drive on it every single day. That's why you should reconsider your decision not to enroll in the bundle or the tire and wheel. That's how this works. It's just that simple. So ask questions to get your customer engaged. What's your understanding of the factory warranty? What's your understanding of the high cost to replace those tires and wheels? That's how you're going to get past the no. We talk about it over and over and over again. All this information is simply on product prep. You can gather it and memorize these questions. What's your understanding of your insurance company responsibility should you total the vehicle? What you're doing is you're opening up a conversation, and that's how you're going to get past the no. Use transition statements to pique your customer's interest. What's your understanding of the factory warranty? There may be another way of looking at it. Let me share something with you. Let me show you something. You mind if I ask you a question? Use statements that get them involved in the conversation, so you're not doing all the talking like I'm doing. Use visuals, illustrations, articles, and props to illustrate to get your point across. Remove those brochures from your desk. Have them accessible, but in a position where you can show the customer and verify the information you're sharing with them and solidify what you're saying. And then create mental pictures with real event stories. How many of you finance managers online have gotten the call from the customer who asked you, did I purchase that tire and wheel? I'm sitting on the side of a highway. Give me the 800 number. I'm sorry, you didn't purchase it. Hopefully, most of the time you're saying you did purchase it. Let me give you the 800 number. You'll have a remedy there in an hour. How many customers say, I'm at the service department and I thought I only had a $100 deductible? Your experience in the F&I office, you should share those stories with your customers to get them engaged and then just to solidify the reasons why they should purchase the product. Display enthusiasm and confidence. I mean, I didn't have much confidence going in the beginning of this webinar, knowing that, I had technical difficulties, but you still got to display it. Fake it if you have to. Ditch the pitch. Stop pitch slapping your customer. Remember, 3 columns is max now. I think the 4 column is overwhelming. I know that a lot of you still use the 4 column. Some of you only use it 1 column or 2 column. The only column that really matters in my mind is the first column, where you expose every product individually, explain the features of every product in that first column. At the bottom of the first column, always use dual payments. There's an illustration how dual payments work. I mean, a customer comes in on a base term of 60 months, the payment's 448, and you move them to 72 months, they're leaving with $3,000 worth of product at 391. They're saving themselves almost $50, a little more than $50, and leaving with $3,000 and financing it for 72 months. If you can keep the interest rate the same, that's fine. If you have to move the interest rate a little bit more, that's fine too. Look, I moved that interest rate 4%, and there's still lower payment. So you got to buy
Hey,
into
hey,
the tell
Gerry,
them, don't sell them.
Gerry, one,
Yep.
one thing that I wanted to mention on that previous slide that you had to set yourself up for success, all of those points, it's interesting. We've had a webinar on each one of those topics, right? Presenting the features, gaining the commitment,
I agree.
introduction, a webinar out of the 87 webinars we've had. There's a particular webinar on each one of this. Now, this PowerPoint presentation is available in Product Prep, so you can print this out, access this, and walk through this on your own time. But if you are interested in any of these specific things like Gerry just breezed through, the introduction or transition statements, there are specific webinars on each one of these. Just wanted to mention that.
Thanks for reminding me of that. That's true. You're absolutely right. So we have a specific webinar for each one of those topics, which will go into more detail. So getting back to this slide, I mean, I talk about dual payments all the time. Even if a customer comes in at 84 months, show them a 72-month payment, because if the customer agrees on the base payment at 72 months, you just bumped them $40. What's the worst case scenario? They go to 84 months at the 72-month payment with product? I mean, come on. Dual payments are the way to go. This is just a strategy that really works. And you got to have a strategy in order to succeed in this business today. So with that said, money matters. So you always want to drive it to the money. Show me the money, all right? Tom Cruise, show me the money. He's very popular these days with Maverick. But think about it. Who doesn't want the coverage? I mean, really, when people say they don't want it, they're just simply saying they don't want to pay for it. They want it. They just don't want to spend the extra money. And stop saying you don't see enough, you don't see value. You have to say you don't see enough value, because every one of these products have some value. If you say you don't see any value and they say, yeah, I don't see any value, you're dead in the water. But if you say you don't see enough value, at least you can throw them a lifeline. Everybody wants the coverage, they just don't want to pay for it. Everybody sees value in the options, just not enough to justify the cost. So here's some word tracks to get past the no. The initial attempt getting past the no is drive the concern to the money. I realize these options aren't for everybody, or I'm surprised you have no interest in any options. What I found is most customers select an option, but when they don't, the only reason they don't is because they don't see enough value. They don't see enough value to spend the extra money. Is that how you feel? You always want to drive it to the money. So in other words, which option works best for you? Customer says none. You look at them and say, that's okay. These options aren't for everybody. But what I have found is that most customers tell me that they really like the product. They just don't see enough value to spend the extra money. Isn't that really how you feel? Yeah. All right. So let me ask you a question. If money weren't important to you, or money weren't an issue with you, take a look at the worry-free option. Which two options would you select? Or what has the most value of everything I shared with you? That now becomes relevant, because now the customer picks those options. That's what's most relevant in their head. and that's going to be the easiest one to sell. Now, obviously, if the customer doesn't pick one and they're really apprehensive or really resistant, maybe you have to push them a little bit and say, based on the information you share with me, I'm surprised you had no interest in this product or that product or these products. What is your concern with these products? Most people tell me it's the money. Isn't that really how you feel? Because these products will definitely benefit you based on the situation you're in or the situation you're going to be in the future. That's how you sell stuff. So I found the real reason. Here's the word tracks. Again, I can read them to you. I just mentioned them to you. Everything that we're sharing with you is accessible on Product Prep. All you got to do is go into Product Prep and the latest webinar and then just print it and whatever you want to do. The word tracks are there, memorizing them, personalizing them. Is it that you don't see enough value in the options? I think that's a very strong statement. Most people tell me they don't want to select an option because they don't see enough value in the options. Is that the case? Which option do you see the most value in? What we're trying to do is get past the no, because the initial no is a resistance no. It's an automatic no. It's in their head. We just got to break that wall down. Let's put your concern over spending the extra money aside for a moment. Seriously, all right? And let's talk about the products, because there is some value more than meets the eye. Let me explain. All right? And that's how you get people, especially if you don't throw verbal vomit at them. And you just kind of explain the products in a feature presentation without a concern of selling them early on in the process, and then dig your heels in after you have their attention. And remember, people, psychologists say you only have 190 seconds of their attention. After 190 seconds, it's gone, it's lost. So keep that in mind when presenting. You want to get through that menu as quickly as possible and with relevant information. Relevant information: vehicle service contract pays for mechanical electrical breakdowns. Tire and wheel pays for damage to tires and wheels. Key replacement pays to replace or repair your keys. Gap pays the difference between insurance. That's relevant information, simple and easy, and people can understand it. So which option would you select if money weren't a concern? All these word tracks are accessible. Next, get the customer to make a choice, because once they make a choice, convincing them is going to be much easier. Sell based on their initial choice, what's relevant to them. Turn that menu around. Make something relevant. Which option would you select if money weren't a concern? What if they were free? Which ones would you choose? Don't be afraid to ask that question. What if they were free? You're going to give them to me? No, I'm just curious for the next customer. If they were free, which ones would you select? And why did you select those? Of all the 5 or 6 options that you have available, why did you select those? They're going to talk themselves into the product. I'm telling you right now. So what is it about the options that concerns you? Well, I knew you didn't want to spend the money. I had it before, never used it. We haven't had it before, never used it, but you had peace of mind. Um, Howard Stern told me not to buy it. Howard Stern can afford to tell you not to buy it. You mentioned to me earlier that you're going to be driving this car, what, 80,000 miles over the course of 5 years? What is the service contract that concerns you? You mentioned to me earlier that you had a flat tire years ago. Oh, I saw in the Carfax you had a flat tire just last year. What is it about the tire and wheel that concerns you? You're setting yourself up for success. So the initial concern, the initial attempt should always be make the shopper your friend. Write it in the back of the menu or grab a piece of paper. If costs were not a concern, which two options would you select? In this particular instance, I'm going to share with you a vehicle service contract and Gap. All right. Do you mind if I share something with you, Mr. and Mrs. Jones? No, go right ahead. So, illustrate it, make the shopper your friend. Your base payment is 400 for 66 months, 369 for 72 months. If you were to choose the vehicle service contract, your payment would be 425 or 395 for the 72 months. If you were to go with the Gap, that would be 414 or 383. Now, take a look at both. If you to go with both, that would be it would be 439, an additional $39, or only $14 more, or if you were to go to 72 months. So write it down, because 65% of the customers sitting in front of you are what they call visionaries. They see better than they hear. Just explaining this to the customer is not going to have the same impact as if you were to write it down.
Hey, Gerry, I got a
So
question.
I'm going to open it up for any questions. I was just going to open it up for questions. What do you got, my man?
I got a question. I had an experience. I was with a
Fire
finance
away.
manager the other day, and He pitched me, he got me on the bundle, and then immediately upsold me more products from there because I had said yes. So my question to you is, if you illustrate this and you get them on a Gap and the VSC, do you stop there or do you push for more?
Okay, I would go for more, depending on how the yes was. If the yes was an emphatic, yeah, I'd definitely go for more at that point. If it was like a maybe yes, I might wait for the final disclosure and then point out the difference in monthly, weekly payments or daily payments. But yeah, I'm definitely going for more. I'm not gonna go for one product. In fact, if I have a three-column menu and Gap and service contract are on the third column, and the second column has a bundle, I might say, you basically selected the third column. What is it about this column that concerns you for an additional $12 a month? Oh, absolutely, go after it. Absolutely. It's like M&Ms. You want another bag, right? Reese's cups. One's not enough. That answer your question?
Yes.
All right. So here's the steps of getting past the no. We have a four-step program. Again, we had a whole webinar on this, which was really good. First step, acknowledge statement. I understand how you feel. Give the customer time to collect their thoughts. You collect your thoughts for better dialogue. I understand exactly how you feel. I have other customers feel the same way. Do you mind if I ask you a question? You need to side with them. I've had other customers feel the same way. I certainly appreciate what you're saying. I wouldn't spend the money if I didn't see the value. Uh, Put empathy and perspective talking. Perspective talking is better than empathy. Perspective talking does more than put yourself in their shoes. It makes you understand exactly what they're saying. You need to learn perspective talking. Understand where they stand. Understand the reason why they're saying that, and then get past it. Then you have to create and satisfy a need. You create a need by asking a question or giving them a statement that puts them in a hardship. It could be a minor hardship. It could be a major hardship. You know, you're rolling $7,000 from your previous loan into this loan. You need gap. I mean, that's a harsh statement. You had a tire and wheel damage on your vehicle. It says here on the Carfax, you spent $800 for a tire and wheel just a year ago. That's putting them in a hardship. And then give them a solution, the product. Then go after the benefits. Hedge on inflation, cancelable, transferable, pays no matter where you are in the country. Then you throw the benefits at them. And then finally, you ask for the business. Once your customer shows sign of agreement, ask them to buy. The minute they nod their head and agree with you, say, okay, sign here. Don't be afraid to say sign here and hold that contract right in front of them. Sign here. Come on, you're on the fence. Let me pull you over. All right. You're on a dog leash. Let me bring you back. All right. Make sure you go through these four steps because that's how you're going to get past the no. Now, these are all the objections that you're going to have. Very simply, I looked at them all. You're not going to find any more than this. If you have an opportunity from one of your partners here, agent partners online, they all have the spin the wheel. I would actually have them spin the wheel in front of you and then learn how to handle these objections. I can't afford it. Sure, you can afford it. You just don't want to spend the extra money. I'm on a budget. You're not on a budget. No one's on a budget. You just don't want to spend the extra money. It's too expensive, not for what it does. You know, I'm already over budget. Okay, so if you're over budget, you can't leave here without buying this because you don't want to leave here with a variable payment. You want to leave here with a fixed payment. That's a lot of money, but look at all it does. This is my third Honda. What difference does it make? Your third Honda is not the same as the fourth Honda you're buying. I mean, look at the technology in this vehicle. Never had a problem in the past. Doesn't mean you're not going to have a problem in the future. I'll take my chances. Oh, you see a risk. I was told not to buy it. By who? Someone that can afford not to buy it. Had it before, never used it. But you had peace of mind. I take really good care of my car. Yeah, but what about the person that parks next to you and put a ding and dent in it? They don't care about your car. I don't want it. You want it. I don't need it. You don't need it, but you do want it. I have plenty of coverage. What are you talking about? You probably have just AAA. All they're going to do is take you to the service department, and you're going to have to pay for the repair. My friend's a mechanic. Oh, he must be a really good friend if he's not going to charge you. He's actually going to charge you for parts, isn't he? Can I think about it? Sure, you can think about it. How long you want to think about it? I got a couch in the back room. Do I have to let you know now? Yeah, you got to let me know now. When are you going to know? Let me know later when it's too late? I have a 3-year warranty. Yeah, but you're going to keep the car for 5 years. What are you going to do the next 2 years? Bam!
Holy shit, Jerry. Take a breath, man. Holy cow. That was a
I
lot.
don't know where I got all that. Man, I got to get back in the box.
That's pretty
Engage
good.
your customer in conversation and create an opportunity to build more value in the product. I know it's hard to justify the cost if you don't see the benefit. You've all heard that, right? Let's see if it's a benefit. You mind if I share something with you? Most folks budget monthly and spend daily. May I share a thought with you? No need. I don't need it. So there's three hesitations: no money, no need, and no sense of urgency. I realize it's hard to just see the benefit if you don't feel the need. Do you mind if I ask you a question? What's your understanding of manufacturer's warranty? The understanding of the cost of replaced tires and wheels? The understanding involved in maintaining the vehicle? Your responsibility at lease end, so on and so forth. No sense of urgency. I can appreciate how you feel, wanting to think about it, not wanting to tell me now. But can I assume you're somewhat interested in the options? Because I know sometimes these decisions are tough to make. There may be another way of looking at it. Do you mind if I share something with you? So you're going to just reinforce the reasons why they should buy the product now. There it is right there. Take them back sometimes. Sometimes you got to take them back. In the past, in the vehicles that you've owned in the past, have you ever had an issue, minor or major? Everybody's going to say, I have. Don't ask them if they had a flat. Don't ask them if I had a ding or dent. They'll tell you, yeah, I had a ding and dent in my vehicle. What happened? Tell me about it. How did you feel? I felt like shit. I know you felt like shit. How would you like to feel better knowing that someone's going to pay to have it fixed? I would like to feel better. All right, sign here. It could be that simple. All right? Because I don't expect you'll ever need it, but you never can tell. Isn't that true? I certainly understand the last thing you're concerned about right now is something happened to your new vehicle, but would you agree we can't predict the future? These word tracks really work, by the way. During the time you've been driving the vehicle, what do you feel is most likely to happen? Could you get a flat? Could some disrespectful person put a ding and dent in your vehicle? How about could you get a small crack in the windshield? Could the vehicle break down? Could the vehicle be stolen? I mean, there's so many things that could happen. Don't you want some protection? Looking back at all the vehicles you owned in the past, have you ever experienced any issues with any of them? Tell me what happened. Tell me how you felt. And wouldn't you like some remedy if that would happen again? That's how you get past the no. And then these all show and tell. We've explained these a number of times. The phone sitting on your desk, 3 levels of protection. The stapler illustrates a combustion engine. The technology is the phone. The spilled coffee, the golf ball showing the dimples and the paint. Once the product is adhered to the paint, you don't have to worry about it. The thermos all dented up on your desk, showing ding and dent. The ball jar filled with tires and stuff that come out of tires and wheels. The light bulb illustrating repair rather than replace. You can't replace or repair a light bulb, you got to replace it. The shopping carriage, dings and dents. The key fob, the expenses of a key fob, and then the swatch for the fabric and paint treatment. Look, don't make your office look like Stanford and Sons, but have this stuff handy. And then you don't want to have an evidence manual. At least have those brochures to illustrate your point, repair orders to solidify your point, articles, Google. And by the way, we make it easy for you because we have every one of these things on product prep. Claims from your agent partner, wear cards from the manufacturer lease company to prove your point. Powertrain versus full coverage. Budget, current payment, 383. Payment include desired product, $48 more. 383 divided by 30, you're spending $13 a day. Come on, man. What's another $1.60 on top of 13 bucks? Sign here, baby. Oh, establish rapport and credibility early in the process. Set yourself up for success. Gather information about your customer. Present options in a telling rather than selling manner. Start gaining commitment by asking which option works for you, and go with the customer's initial choice and rely on the 4 steps to get past the no. Bam! After all that technical difficulty, I think we put on a good show. Any questions? Is everybody there?
Oh,
We're
we're
all here.
good.
That was great.
Oh, all right. So what's next?
What's next? Well, I mean, how long did it take you to master all of those word tracks? Those word tracks really work. It gives you the confidence, I guess, to present seamlessly, right? And no hesitations.
Yeah,
So how long did it take you to become really effective at that? I know you're good now, you're a pro, but for someone
20
just
years.
starting out.
takes a long time. I continue to do it. I'm not done. I continue to practice. I mean, I'm Larry Bird. I'm Tom Brady. Who else? You got to
What do they say?
practice every day.
What do, what do they say, Jerry?
Bird.
Training is not something you did; it's something you do, right?
Right. It's not something you did. It's something you do. Life's a lesson. You learn it when you're through.
That's true.
Well, you look nice and tan, Stevie. You look
Thanks,
nice and
buddy.
tan, bro.
Yeah, you do.
You look
Today is
good. You
Blood
lost
So,
some
Pressure.
weight. You're looking good, man. That
what's
bike's
the
really
best way to practice this, Jerry? What's the best way to practice this? Is it role play with your friends? Is it
go to sleep.
Yeah.
All right. The best way to practice for me, seriously, you gotta laugh. I say it all the time. People who know me heard me say this before. I don't count sheep when I go to sleep. I practice word tracks.
Okay.
I practice word tracks when I go to sleep. All right? That's how I do it. So, guys, we'll decide what we're going to do next time, and I hope to see you all then.
Exactly. Thank you, Jerry.
Fair enough?
Awesome. Thank you so
Thanks,
much.
Jerry.
I'm having
Thank you, Jerry.
technical difficulties coming
Thank
back.
you.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Jerry.
guys, and we'll see you
Before
in
you go off, I need you for a second.
we'll see you next Wednesday.